child that is very different from the idea of today. And for example, we say, oh, you want to have the Grand Duchess give a dress to a child to say, oh, I give you one dress of my children. So the child is, oh, is they think to be dressed with these silk dresses, and you give him a dress of a priest, a little priest, and so you can go to the convent and study and become so this is the aim of this kind of activity. This kind of activity it is very different from a theatrical. Even if they have some activity that are really theatrical. For example, on the problem of slaves, because no one knows that here they are slaves. Eleanora has, I think, 13 female slaves, and some was male slaves, of course, colored people. So there was one that was called Grillino Nero. Grillo is a little insect, a little black insect. So I think that the Grillino Nero, the black Grillino, is like a very thin and nervous personage, but I don't know. So if you have some question.
I just wanted to make you pay attention to this, because we will be seeing it on a painting in the big hall. So you will be able to recognize it. Huh?
So the problem is philologically incorrect, because they can use these with fur and without. And this is completely double.
Oh, the fabric underneath.
So the Grand Duke, see, the fabric is not bad. Also, this damask is a silk damask. It is similar to the one of Cosimo that you see in painting. And so the personage can use one side and the other, it depends. For example, in summer they can't use this, of course. For children, for example, one of the activities is the Duchess that came to the children and talk about children and how they were wrapped. They are wrapped in...
There is the possibility to be led by the wet nurse, one of the wet nurses, and she talks about her role at the palace. Every time the Duchess was pregnant, and this happened once a year, she would start looking for a good candidate, which was usually a young woman pregnant herself, because she needed to have milk coming from the countryside and ready to leave all her family to come and to be living here and selling her milk.
So this is not an exhibition of costume, because they don't put the costume this side. It's only for you. They have taken out the costume. And
grazie, grazie.
And make sure that the others know that, because they're not displayed as if it's a musigraphical, you know. So the separation and the hanging and the way you see them is very casual. This is for you.
Oh, grazie, grazie.
This one for children that came and dressed and so on.
Which is wonderful.
This one,
yeah, it's fantastic.
And there was a question about the two pieces, about the separate.
Okay, I don't know if I separate or not, perhaps no, but to dress
actors,
children.
to let them try them.
No actors,
the
young children, and so they put it on, so it is better that are easy to dress, if not, it's almost impossible.
But I assure you, the more agitated they are, as soon as we dress them as a priest, their attitude changes completely.
The clothes
No,
makes
but I
them
mean, these are dresses that really force you to have a certain attitude.
Yes.
This is the idea of dressing them. Because you see how powerful they can be, of course. And, well, even our actresses, they are wearing a bust. There is also the possibility to meet the Duchess when she's asleep and assist at her dressing up. So to give the idea of the ritual, all the time it would take. But she wasn't in a hurry. It was a real ritual. And she was wearing one layer on top of the other. She was wearing a bust even when she was pregnant, at least in the first months of pregnancy.
Allora, ci
svolgiamo
The Duchess.
Eleanora.
Oh, the beer dance is beautiful.
Oh, it's all in proportion. But you can see now that you've seen the Medici, where the inspiration
Yes, because we had children that came here to visit the Duchess in the 80s. At the end of
This side, that's where we're chairs.
Yeah.
So they are interested
Drea.
to show this kind of mix. Come si dice la cosa?
Connection, relationship.
The relationship between the body and the image of the body theatre.
We saved it for you specially.
So, for example, they put on
You're welcome. Jenny, can you see? Would you rather sit here? All right, okay.
And probably Eleanora don't wear the faldilla. But in this case it was interesting to show how the dress changed the shape of the body and how it is constructed. So for children and something like that was more impressive. So for example,
we start on the thinking that after our society, I mean mainly the Occidental idea and culture, the clothing is history, as the naked body is the ideal word, or before the first sin. So for the saved body, or for goddess and God, through the clothing we are in history. In each time, through clothing we open a window on a society. Being in this palace, we choose the Medici family because we want to be really plunged in the real thing. So for the people coming, it's really more